warm greeting to Avatar Live viewers. This is the time of the year where parents and children are looking for a nice school to join. And I am at one of those wonderful schools in Chennai, which has just been started like 1 year back. However, in the last 1 year itself, there has been so much curiosity, reception, and appreciation towards the Shriram Universal School Chennai. To talk more about it, I'm going to ask Mr. Naveen Ranka, the project director of SPR Group, as to why the Shriram Universal School was chosen to be part of the SPR City project. Mr. Naveen, as part of the SPR City, you have many key infrastructural projects and you have this amazing school, the Shriram Universal School. Why was Shriram Universal School chosen for as part of the SPR City project?
See, when you are developing a township of a 63 acres and you want people to be connected with all the things that they do in life, I think one of the key influential asset in any surrounding is a school. So first question is, should we have a school? So answer is yes. Question number two is, which school? So we're very clear, the school has to have a very modern outlook, but at the same time it needs to be from a background which respects the tradition. And we were looking for setting up an institution which has a track record of delivering a very good education elsewhere, and therefore we were looking for many brands within Chennai, outside Chennai. Then finally in Delhi we found that Shriram School is the Shriram School already happens to be a #1 school there, and among I think 3 of their institutions in schooling are in top 10 as far as the country is concerned. Then their colleges which they have set up, about the Shriram College of Commerce, and I think the Lady Shriram College, which we all are. So these are top-notch institutes. So they come with that background of setting up an institution, and if you are doing something at SPR City which is very big, then you need to have an institution which comes with that legacy of being #1 for many years. And when I say #1, it's not a numerical aspect where they are #1 in a competitive sense. No, there is a lot more to it. They are very value driven. The kind of fundamentals that they have is what makes them #1. Not that #1 is a ranking which you can achieve by setting up just a good infrastructure, but apart from that, a lot of value is needed. They invest a lot in teachers training, all right. They invest a lot in designing a curriculum. They very well are aware of that what an Indian child would need, considering. So we are not in a global rat race to deliver education which is just about getting marks or being very tech savvy. That's what these days education is all about. Hand over technology to kids and we think that the education is done. No, there is a lot of human side to how education needs to happen. And we found that the Shri way of learning, or the curriculum, or the kind of the reasons we found there were missing elsewhere, and therefore we thought, let's go with them, because at one end we are talking about artificial intelligence, robotic labs and everything, but we still start our day by saying namaste. So that's the combination we want. I think namaste being at heart made us choose Shriram.
You did start off the word good infrastructure.
Yes.
Can you just elaborate on how good the infrastructure of the Shriram
Let me
University?
put it this way. Infrastructure, I think any school is incomplete without playgrounds. In a city, you cannot set up a school today with a playground at the heart of it, for a very simple reason. The land is not available. So what we need to do, we need to figure out a way in which we can have a common infrastructure for the entire 63-acre development, and that can be given, that is accessible by school as well. So we are looking at setting up a cricket academy. Now again, we went with a person who has a legacy of literally helping India win a World Cup. So Gary Custon Cricket Academy is something which was on top of our mind. We got them. Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy, that's what we are looking at. Then you look at Rock School of London, That is something which we have got. They are also very good at music and fine arts. So we've got them here. Music, dance. These are something. These are again touching down upon the human aspect on what they are really, what the education is about. The education cannot be just about pen and paper, or it cannot be just about technology. There is a lot of human side to it, and lot of this team building related thing or human behavioral aspects, that all come from sports and arts. So we can't stay disconnected with that. That is what is needed for the overall development, apart from a very good academics. So while we are very focused on academics, but these are the aspects which we don't want to miss. So therefore we have got, apart from the Shriram school, Shriram Universal School, we have created these, we have partnered with these institutions and getting the best over here.
By bringing them, are you one of the first to do it in the
Yes,
country?
in Chennai, as far as in Chennai, in country, if we are to be considered, this is first of its kind partnership. It's not that, they, with school there are very, I don't think any school has partnered to this extent. So we are going ahead and partnering with them. So it's a first of its kind partnership, which rarely anyone else has done it, and I think that is a brilliant opportunity for students to and parents to experience it.
So what you foresee is an amazing balance between academics and sports. Is that what?
Not only sports, I'm saying everything. Yoga, meditation. We are having one zone where farming can be taught to the kids. We will encourage them to play with the soil. There are multi-purpose courtrooms where you can go and play badminton also. Dance, we have dance room, music room. You look at that. So it's a 360-degree package. It's not something where we are looking only for sports. Anything that enables your mind and body both, or helps you develop both, that is what we are looking at.
Going into the accessibility of the school, from where all people could actually come and get their students admitted, get their children admitted of the school here, and what is there a unique advantage for the residents of SPR city itself?
See, almost students are coming right up to 7-kilometer radius. It goes as far as Anna Nagar. People are coming from Anna Nagar. People are coming from Kilpauk, Egmore, Purushavakkam, Ainavaram, even Washerman Pate. So it's a if you take a 6-7 kilometer radius, students are coming from there, and they are seeing that we are offering what is really good. So they feel connected with the kind of education that we are offering in our school, and that's the geography in which we are operating. And it's for everyone. If you look at the kind of diversity which we have looked into while hiring teachers, principals, the person who heads our the schooling business from the SPR side, the people from all communities have come together and have formed this. So it's not again a particularly community driven school. It's a heterogeneity is there. People are, we are ensuring that we are not becoming homogeneous but heterogeneous. So people are coming from various background, and they are working towards making this institution great.
Nice talking to you, sir. Now we will move on to Miss Mangala, the principal of the Shriram Universal School. I'm going to ask her, what are the facilities available in the school? How is the child going to develop, and what can the parents look forward to? To answer this, I invite Ms. Mangala, the principal of Shriram Universal School. Good evening, ma'am.
Namaste.
Namaste, ma'am. Shriram Universal School, quite a buzz in Chennai, and a lot of parents are curious. What can parents and kids be excited about, when they are joining the Shriram Universal School? What is that they can look forward to?
Ideally, a school focuses on content. We also believe that the learning environment is very important, and the learning environment contributes a lot to the learning of a student. So the environment that we create in school is such that it fosters vibrancy, it fosters creativity, and also a sense of commitment to for the children to do the best that they can. We also have only 30 students per section and not more than 4 sections per class. So right from nursery to grade 12 going forward, we will not be having more than 120 students per class. So this way, it's quite easy for a teacher to focus on children, and children also tend to get that individual attention that they are seeking for. And the school is child centric. What we mean is children are involved in everything that happens in school. See, because the school exists for nurturing the children, and it's very important that as part of nurturing, children are given a lot of opportunities to participate, to volunteer, and come forward.
To what extent Shriram Universal School Chennai is employing or using technology in its day-to-day lifestyle of the kid, especially post-COVID, there are so many online classes where a number of people are using different apps, etc., etc. Even kids are, given exposure to apps and online classes. To what extent Shriram Universal School is, depending on technology to for the due process to teach the kids or to engage with them?
Right. So we do use technology, and technology certainly contributes, in our day-to-day function. But we are not over dependent on technology. So ideally, the school does not recommend too much of dependence on technology for students. There are reference work, there are research work that children should be doing, but we recommend more of use of books. That actually increases the attention span. And what happens is when a child gets to read, there is also a scope for imagination. And when the child gets to read something, through an app, what happens is I feel that imagination is restricted. But yes, communication is one such area where we are dependent on technology, and we make use of it in communication, in communicating to the parents, and the parents also use that portal to communicate back to us. Our classrooms are smart classrooms, so we have the ICT and those topics that needs that intervention of videos and audios and podcast. We certainly incorporate that in our teaching learning process, but we are not completely dependent. We believe that it's very important for the child to actually physically involve himself or herself, and that contributes to a better learning.
I want to hear from you about your teachers. How good are they, and how do you retain them? What can the students and parents expect from their teachers?
See, the recruitment policy is quite stringent to begin with. There are various levels of, what we call it as rounds, or which the teacher has to actually take up. So basically, the group, the Shriram group emphasizes on proficiency in content, that is depth of knowledge, subject knowledge. That's one thing, and it's very important that the teachers have, sufficient qualification in the subjects that they're going to handle, which means the cross majors are not entertained or allowed. That's number one. And they have a little test that they are supposed to take up. Then there is a round with the subject experts, where we have a team of subject experts at Delhi. They do that interview and assess the knowledge or proficiency the teacher has in her subject. And then there is also a little test on the attitude or the psychometric analysis that is done. See, because basically we do understand that there is a scope for growth, be it a student or a teacher. And there's always an unconditional support that is extended to both the students and teachers, because everybody needs to be given an opportunity to better himself or herself. But at the same time, it is also important that the teacher is ready to learn, ready to upskill herself and take up the training and show the difference in her transaction. So that's something they, watch for, or they're very particular about. And also, our HR policies are quite employee friendly, and are such that they want to hold the good stuff, they want to retain good stuff. And I think these are something, and once you take care of the benefits and the requirements of the teacher, I don't think there should be any reason why they need to move out.
As far as students go, however, every student seems to be different from the other student when it comes to interests, likes, and what they want to pursue. When they spend their time here, what are the things they are going to spend their time on? Is it going to be all books and videos all the day, or they're going to have a chance to involve something in their other interests, or even give a scope for, hey, this is another option why don't you give it a try? Like sports or some kind of a clubs. What are the other things where or the range of options which students are exposed to during their stay here?
So, as I told you, in addition to curricular subjects, there is also focus on a lot of aspects that builds their social skills, emotional skills, triggers their thinking, and some of those activities are we have our circle times, we have wonder time, then we have something called as research and referral, then we have something for art and craft, which is mandatory for all children. Clay modeling is one such thing, dramatics, then debates, elocution, and reading. See, because reading is also very important, and right from a younger age, children must get into the habit of reading. So that's another aspect. And then yes, we also have tie-up with the Rock School of London for music and dance, and the Gary Kristen for cricket, and Padukone Academy for the badminton. And in future also we're planning for such tie-ups. So this way what happens is that children get an opportunity to be trained by the professionals. And then based on their interest, they can certainly probably, take it up as a hobby. And then if they want to spend a little more time towards that, we have the facility and the professionals who are ready to stay back and probably coach or train children in their area of interest.
So, Shriram Universal School Chennai, so far, from what I've heard, there are so many people who want to join. But what has set you apart in such a short time you have come to Chennai, and there is already so much curiosity and interest towards the school? What are the things that has set Shriram Universal School apart? How is it different? What are its USPs? Very keen to know.
Yeah, so first thing is we are very clear on allowing the child to grow at his or her own pace. We believe in creating the right environment and allowing the children to pick up on what he or she wants to excel. That's number one. Number two, we are an inclusive school. Inclusive in the sense we also, cater to children who are specially abled or, have some kind of learning disabilities. And this way what happens is the children who are really bright tends to be empathetic and tries to help the ones who need, and the ones who need those kind of additional support, we do have special educators to help them with the curricular subjects. So there's a lot of learning that happens, there's a lot of caring that happens. So that way both the sets of children, the ones who are really good and can help others, and the ones who need that help, tend to learn from each other. Then the next thing is, see, basically children look for opportunities, and and they want those kind of opportunities where they can come forward and participate, that contributes to their confidence level. And with more strength, more students in classroom, what happens is they miss out on that. And here, since the number of students are restricted to 30 per section, so we have all the events such that children get those individualized attention to come forward and participate. And even in case they are interested in taking up dance classes, music classes, badminton classes, art classes, or learn a language, there is a scope for all that. And these tie-ups also helps the children to by giving them opportunities outside the school. So giving opportunities inside school is what we do, and that's when majority of the students come forward and participate. But they also look for a lot of opportunities outside. So over and above the inter-school competitions or whatever other the fests and events are conducted for children, these organizations also have various mini tournaments and events and things like that. So these children also get a chance to participate in that as well. So it becomes double whammy for them. So that's the next thing. And the third thing I told you, the infrastructure is such that there are a lot of learning spaces. We have a dedicated art room for the junior school, a dedicated art room for the senior school. We have 2 different libraries for juniors and seniors. Then we also have amphitheater, then we have lab, then we have multi-purpose hall. So that way there's plethora of learning spaces in school, and children can choose to learn the way they have to. Not necessarily they have to be glued to the textbook and notebook and just mug up and then write examinations. Yet another thing is we believe in decorating our school and classrooms with children's material. You'll find that our classrooms are print rich. We believe that the children's work is what needs to be displayed, and we take pride in displaying children's work the way they are. Probably it might not get too much of appreciation from outsiders, but I think that gives them a sense of happiness and a pride, and that's what we're looking for. So as I told you, this is all these things are basically child centric, and the focus is not to get appreciation from the crowd at large, but to give a sense of pride and happiness in children. And I think probably these are some of the reasons.
As far as the evaluation of kids goes, so I believe there is so many means to do it. So how is a student going to be evaluated at the Shriram Universal School? How are the parents going to infer from it when they bring their report card? What are the things that they are going to see?
So at elementary classes, it's important that we allow the children to gain the courage and the confidence to come to school, to stand, to express himself or herself. And testing is not a right choice at that level. So we don't have any formal tests or exams till grade 2. But yes, the teacher does make her observation. She does write down the anecdotes and she shares it with the parent, the kind of response the child makes, or his the child's involvement in the classes, and his contribution in the class, whether he volunteers or he needs to be pushed, or whether he enjoys answering and participating. So all such feedback is shared by the teachers to the parents, but there's no formal testing or learning that happens till grade 2. Now grade 3 up, what happens is we do have a little test, a term and exams. So tests are something which are conducted as assessment for learning, where the teacher wants to know how much of a concept the child has understood, whether she knows her spellings in dictation, or the child is able to basically mental math, or if the child is able to explain a particular concept, draw a diagram. So these are small, very small tests that the teacher conducts in the class to check how much has a child actually learned. But as a formal test or an examination happens from grade 3 and above, and we have what is called as term and examination for students of grade 3, 4, 5, and that gradually takes them to the or gives them an experience to also take up written examinations. Grade 6 and above, we follow the CBSE pattern of the way the testing happens in grade 10. The same thing we start from grade 6 onwards. So you will see that in our report card, we have a column for efforts. And what we look at is the efforts put in by the child and not the performance. Sometimes what happens is a child puts an adequate amount of effort, but he or she, for some reason, is not able to perform well. So we make it very clear to the parents, and there the child scores points in the efforts column. Might be he's not scored too well in performance. So this way, when you acknowledge the efforts put in by the child and not on the performance, what happens is the child is actually motivated to put up his best, or keep working, pushing himself to achieve the best that he can. So that way the focus is more on the efforts put in and not on the performance.
So the efforts put in or points jotted down, or is there a marks or a scoring system for the efforts also?
Yeah.
Because it's very unique that
Correct.
there is a collection of
Correct.
effort.
You're right. Efforts are very descriptive. So there what we look is the child regular to school? Is the child regular in submission of his homework? Does the child make efforts to do that extra reading? Does he volunteer and to answer in the class? Does he volunteer to probably participate and explain a concept, apply a concept? So these are all these parameters reflect the kind of effort that the child puts in.
It's a continuously changing world. At one day, one skill is important, and the next day that skill isn't. How do you as a school, TSUS, especially and particularly the teachers, or kept updated with the skill sets required that they can manage the students or teach the students? Is there a mechanism or a process that you have within the school that can that helps in teachers getting updated with the latest?
Yeah, so learning is not just restricted to the children or the students, right from the principal to the teachers to the support staff. We all have a lot of training sessions that we have to mandatorily attend in a year. There are, what we call it as assigned number of days that all of us are supposed to take up training in a year. And we do that, and we have a team, a full-fledged team at Delhi, and with the experts and mentors in all subjects. So there's a lot of training that the team provides us, and then and this training also helps teachers to probably learn new teaching learning practices, and try out various pedagogy that they want to, and this way we empower our teachers, and then it becomes a lot more easier for them to take it to the classroom.
It's been a year since the Shriram Universal School has started. How satisfying the reception has been, because there is already so much curiosity about the school and with the state-of-the-art infrastructure, which Mr. Naveen said. How good has the reception been? How good has what can you just tell about the journey of the first year and what to expect in the second year of school?
So even though the academic session 2020-21 has been in the virtual mode, we made sure that our children don't miss out on any of the learning experiences. So right from the investiture ceremony to the events, the celebrations, the tour, the PTMs, the annual day, everything was conducted in the virtual mode, and our children have participated and thoroughly enjoyed the experience. And I'm very happy to share that we have closed our admissions for junior KG in the coming academic year, and on the verge of closing for senior KG. So that's the testimony to the acceptance and the success rate of year one. Year two, we are certainly looking forward to get our children to meet their teachers and vice versa.
Naveen sir, that must be very happy news for you.
Yes. So, we are looking forward to children's coming to school. It's been a year of a pandemic, so we couldn't see children's here. I think it's the children's which makes the school, so we are just waiting for them, and it's all set to go. Everything is ready, and very soon you will see children's running here and there.
What is the in 5 years from now when you reach the fifth year? What can how endearing the journey will be? What's your
See, I'll put it this way. I'm not interested right now in a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan or a 7-year plan. What I am really looking at is my success is in seeing that once a child leaves the school after qualifying his 10th or 12th, I want to see that he is a self-motivated individual who knows that he will achieve his aspirations with whatever it takes, be it hard work, be it sincerity, be it education, be it application of common sense, whatever you call it. We want to see that people who flourish out of the school really become a very strong independent individuals who can take charge of their life, and they eventually get happiness. So that's the benchmark we have kept, rather than trying to find ourselves on those ranking spots, being number 1, number 2, or wherever.
thank you, Ms. Maglavan.